Shalom everyone, welcome to the second part of the Overcome series, and today we're going to be talking about perfectionism. So what prompted this topic was after I uploaded the first part of the Overcome series where I talked about shame, I realized a lot of mistakes that I made in that video. And to me, the mistakes were so bad that I wanted to delete the video, re-record it, and re-upload it. At the end of the day, it was still helpful to people and the mistakes didn't really matter. Prior to making this video, I was going to do another topic and I didn't feel led to do it anymore. And so, I never felt led to do it in the first place. It was just something that I wanted to do. And so after I talked to my friend, I realized that a lot of people actually deal with this. Maybe this to be the next topic. And so I just pondered on it. I prayed about it. And then I kept hearing things. I kept seeing things. And I'm like, okay, so this is definitely the topic I need to talk about. So we're going to be talking about perfectionism today.
One of the definitions of perfectionism is the refusal to accept any standard short of perfection. And perfection is defined as the condition, state, or quality of being free or as free as possible from all flaws or defects.
If you are a perfectionist in this aspect, you might set excessively high standards for yourself and experience self-criticism, self-doubt, and anxiety when those standards are not met. And so I can definitely say that I've dealt with perfectionism in this aspect. So right now I'm enrolled in a community college, and since it is a self-paced course, I don't have a GPA, but I do have like a percentage average of all of my test scores, quizzes, and assignments. And so to pass the course, I need to get a 70% or higher. And, me being the perfectionist I am, I wanted to have a complete 100%. So I was spending hours and hours and hours studying because I wanted to make sure that I had a 100% average. And it was like so bad that like some quizzes that I have, you can do them more than once. If I missed a question, I would go back and redo the entire quiz because I wanted to have 100%. And it was to the point where I was spending, a lot of hours towards school that I didn't have as much time to pray or read my Bible because I was just always doing school. I just felt a need to have that 100%. If you are a perfectionist in that aspect, you could also experience procrastination. Setting standards that are too high and unattainable can discourage you and cause you to put off the task at hand. Since I deal with that kind of perfectionism, I also dealt with procrastination. When I started this Overcome series, I was supposed to start it. I was told to start it a month or two before I actually started it. But the problem was, when I first felt like I should do it, I had it listed out what I want to talk about, how I was going to have the video. Like I just had a whole big plan. But when the vision that I had wasn't lining up, I just put it off and I didn't do it. I just felt like that I wasn't going to be able to do it. I felt like that this was too much for me. And so I just put it off. And so this time, instead of just setting what I wanted to look like, I sought the Most High first, and I've waited to be led into what to talk about instead of just doing what I wanted to do. But before then, I was just, bringing out a whole bunch of stuff that I wanted to talk about, and it didn't work out. And so since it was just too much for me, I got discouraged and I put it off. So most likely, if you're a perfectionist, you might also deal with procrastination. And it's not that you're lazy, and it's not that you're slowful. It's just the fact that it's too big for what you can handle at the moment. And when you do that, instead of realizing that I need to take a step back and see what I can attain and what I can manage, you just don't do it. You get discouraged. You feel like you can't do it at all. You look at it as a failure. Perfectionism can also lead you to being judgmental towards yourself and others. As I touched on earlier, perfectionists tend to set impossibly high standards for themselves. But oftentimes, when those standards are not met or they fall short, they can become highly critical of themselves. As I discussed in my last video, perfectionism is often a defense mechanism rooting in shame that comes from feeling inadequate or unworthy. If you are this type of perfectionist, you might find yourself being harshly critical of others' flaws and mistakes, and find it hard to accept their imperfections. Instead of showing them grace for their shortcomings, you might find yourself shunning and judging them instead. This can cause a strain in your friendships and relationships and make you an unbearable person to be around. Spiritually, this looks like someone who tries to live a perfect sin-free life, and if that person sins, they may fall into self-condemnation and shame. Perfectionism can also manifest as a trait in people who are controlling. These individuals may try to control their environment, actions, and the actions of others to meet their impossibly high standard, which can manifest as controlling behavior. Some perfectionists crave predictability and control because it reduces anxiety and the fear of making mistakes. This can manifest in many different ways. One way that it can manifest is micromanaging. Perfectionists might feel compelled to oversee every detail of a task, even if it isn't their responsibility. Though it's hard for me to admit, I would say that I've actually dealt with this, and it would be ways like, especially like with my like little sister, I would see her doing something, and even though it has nothing to do with me, I would just like, oh, maybe you should do it this way, or maybe you should do it that way. It's like, why? All that matters is that it's getting done. It doesn't need to be done my way. And that brings me to difficulty accepting help, which a perfectionist may hesitate to accept help with tasks as they feel others won't perform to their standards. And that's definitely something that I know I struggle with. Feeling like that it's not going to get done unless I do it, or it's not going to be done right until I do it myself. And, I had to learn to accept that just because I would normally do something a certain way, or I would want something done a certain way, doesn't mean that that's the way others do it. And all that matters is that the job gets done in the end. It doesn't really matter how it gets done or the way it gets done. All that matters is that it gets done. The micromanaging and the difficulty accepting help, they go hand in hand, because it's like you want others to do stuff a certain way, it has nothing to do with you. And when it has something to do with you, you want others to do it a certain way that you need it done. And if you deal with this, you need to learn that, first of all, if it's a task that to do with you, just stay out of it. Unless someone is asking for your help or it's something detrimental, it doesn't matter which way someone is doing it or how they're doing it. It's not your task. And if it is accepting help, if you know this person can help you, even if it isn't perfect like you think it is, or even isn't the way that you think it should go, you should accept help. You should learn that we all have our own minds and our own way of doing things, and that not everyone's way is going to be your way, and that is okay. But it's like, whatever you got to do, just, you need to work on it. And as I said in my last video about confronting things, sometimes you need to just actually do the things so you can overcome them. And so I've just learned to accept the help. Even if I know people are going to do it a different way, I still accept it, because all that matters is that it's done. So how to overcome? First, find the roots. Identifying the triggers are going to be the best way that you overcome them. So if you feel them coming on, if you see what is causing it, then you can know how to overcome it. So if your perfectionism is rooted in the fear of failure, reframe failure as a learning experience instead of as a personal failing. As you learn something, not something that you failed. If your perfectionism is rooted from guilt from past sins, remember that we should be trying to live sin-free. We should be striving to live that way. But the Most High is there for us for the times that we fall. We repent and we turn away from those sins and we ask for forgiveness. But there are going to be times that we may accidentally slip up, and the Most High is there for us. So again, there's nothing wrong with wanting to live sin-free or striving for that. There's nothing wrong with that. But we shouldn't dwell on mistakes. It's good to feel guilt. It's good to feel shame, and it's great to feel remorseful. Those are great feelings, and that's a good thing. If you feel that way, that means you aren't reprobate. That means you have a repentant heart, and it's good to have that.
Psalms 103, 2-18 says, Bless Yahuwah, O my soul, and forget not all his benefits, who forgives all your iniquities, who heals all your diseases, who redeems your life from destruction, who crowns you with loving kindness and tender mercies, who satisfies your mouth with good things, so that your youth is renewed like the eagles. Yahuwah executes righteousness and judgment for all that are oppressed. He made known his ways unto Moshe, his acts unto the children of Yashrael. Yahuwah is merciful and gracious, slow to anger, and plenteous in mercy. He will not always chide, neither will he keep his anger forever. He has not dwelt with us after our sins, nor rewarded us according to our iniquities. For as the heavens are high above the earth, so great is his mercy toward them that fear him. As far as the east is from the west, so far as he removed our transgressions from us. Like as a father pities his children, so Yahuwah pities them that fear him. For he knows our frame. He remembers that we are dust. As for man, his days are as grass, as a flower of the field, so he flourishes. For the wind passes over it, and is gone, and the place thereof shall know it no more. But the mercy of Yahuwah is from everlasting to everlasting upon them that fear him, and his righteousness unto children's children, to such as guard his covenant, and to those that remember his commandments to do them.
Practice self-compassion. Remember that everyone makes mistakes at times. I'm not saying don't take accountability for your past mistakes, but I am saying don't dwell on them. Just realize that it's a learning opportunity. So you made this mistake. You remember how it feels to mess up at this or to do this. You remember that feeling, and to prevent you from feeling it in the future, look at it as a way to realize I felt this and I no longer want to feel it, so I'm going to do better. Focus on what you can control. Focus on your own tasks. Like I said with the micromanaging, focus on what you can control. You can't control the outcome or other people's actions, so why try to? Why try to perfect other people when you need to work on yourself? I had to learn that I can't control everything, and I don't want to. I want the Most High's will to be done. So instead of trying to micromanage other people's tasks and what they do, if they don't call for my help, if they're not asking for my help and it's not detrimental, I can leave my 2 cents out of it. If it didn't work out, it just didn't work out. So set realistic goals for yourself. And I'm not saying that your goals aren't achievable. I'm saying they're not manageable. And what I mean by that is when I put those hours towards school, yes, I achieved my goal, but it wasn't manageable because I can't keep that up. I couldn't manage that type of pace, that type of, time towards school because I had other things to do. And I had to accept that, and I had to be understanding of that. And so set goals that are actually manageable in a way that the goals you set are interfering with your life. Not to the point where, especially interfering with your spiritual life with the Most High. If you're neglecting Him and putting Him aside just for these goals, then you don't need to be doing it, and it's not His will. Because if it was His will, things would line up and they would work out the way they need to be. You wouldn't have to manipulate the situation. You wouldn't have to control it. You wouldn't have to do other things for Him. So make sure your goals are actually manageable and not just achievable. Seek wise counsel. Is it low self-esteem? Is it low self-worth? Seeking someone and talking those things out can actually help you to overcome those things.
Instead of striving to be the world's sense of perfect, we should strive to be Tamim. Tamim is defined as being entire, complete, whole, without blemish, and sound. It can also be defined as having integrity, in what is complete or entirely in accord with truth and fact.
So, with that, Shalom.